Y'all know who y'all are. All right. We have Tre'Vell, we have Rodrigo.
Right?
I want your fresh response.
Hi everybody, my name is Dalilia, Ali Rajah. I am a person with a microphone now. I'm an actor, writer, producer, basically an all-around storyteller and a healer through storytelling is my goal. I like to illuminate the human spirits so that we can create more compassion and open up and change hearts and minds. I still haven't seen myself. I identify around, I'm a Black woman in America. My family is 5 generations of Spelman, but I'm also earth-based religion, witchy type, fairy, all up in all of that. I'm bisexual. I've coined the term ambifidelitous because I was in a poly relationship at one point, and I can also do monogamy. I've got a trans kid. I ain't never seen myself. But I see parts of myself, like I write myself. I think when I saw even things like Stormy Weather, and I first saw a brown face on screen as a beautiful woman who's in a gorgeous dress, who's singing and getting the focus of this audience like that, or when I read about or saw images of Josephine Baker and her abandoning her freedom, I saw myself. Like those are the beginnings of it, but I still haven't fully seen myself realized on the screen, which is a part of why I write.
Hello, thanks for being here today. It's so great to see all of you, beautiful people. My name is Tamika Miller. I am a director, writer, and producer. And I hail from the South, Miami. This is South. What a great question, Tre'Vell. I mean, it's interesting. I'm trying to I'm writing something right now that I feel is a reflection of myself. Being a 40-something-year-old woman, having more confidence in who I am, and the stories I want to tell. A number of years ago, I wrote and directed a short narrative called Sarong Song, which probably is the only film where there's 2 Black lesbian leads in a relationship, in a romantic relationship, during the Black student protest movement of the early 1970s. So it's a period piece. In some ways, that was a reflection of myself, because I love to tell stories that are about social commentary. I haven't seen myself fully reflected just yet, but I'm working on it, and I look forward to the conversation we have, because I've butted up I've had some resistance to me telling the story of myself, if you will, at this age. So, yeah. Amen.
My name is Quincy Linear Gossfield. I am a writer, director, visual artist. I probably do a million different things in the art book. Probably most recognized for being co-creator of the Chronicles with my husband. And wow, that is a great question, because I don't think I've seen myself either. I think I've seen pieces of my experience reflected in different people's work. I would say probably the first film that really touched me, that I connected with on like an extremely deep level, was Mississippi Damned. And that was a story about a young lesbian girl. I by no ways, feel like I'm a young lesbian girl. But you can say that, I guess. But that film just it touched me, or it connected with me about a struggle of a girl. I'm not from the South, I'm from Chicago. But it was just a lot of parallels with my life, trying to get out of Chicago. trying to embrace myself, find myself, and also being a survivor of sexual child abuse as well. And so there was a lot in that movie that connected with me. And then I think there was a lot also in Moonlight that I was able to connect with, but none of those characters were me. You know, it was just like some of their experiences I could identify with. But yeah, I have still yet to see me, I would say, fully reflected. And as these two writers said, it's something that definitely I'm working towards possibly having to create myself.
My name is Deondray Gossfield, and I am the co-creator of the DO Chronicles. I'm a writer, producer, actor, crazy person, all wrapped into one. Shut up, Quincy. And that question is, wow. So I thought I knew the answer. I was gonna say Looking for Langston is a short film way back in the day that I ordered when your gay films came up in a little brown paper bag, wrapped up and all clean, and I thought it was a porno, to be honest. When I went through a magazine to get what I thought was a gay porn, and secretly in the mail, and soon discovered it was like a reflection of myself and my community, and I knew that I wasn't kind of alone, and there was art from where I stood. So it really opened up a lot of doors for me, just as a creator for gay content. And but I can't say that it really reflected me per se. And then like Moonlight is a close second. Sharon is a lot like me, coming from the inner city, drug addicted mother. I'm currently trying to put me on the screen with a screenplay that I'm in the middle of right now, which is basically about me and my young sister growing up in the Jays in South Los Angeles during the crack epidemic of the 80s, and trying to navigate through all that with a drug-addicted mother, an absent father, and trying to kind of like get me and my sister through the horrors of the inner city. So that's coming. Yeah, I think I said it. Yeah.
Hello everybody, I'm Charles Ray Hamilton. This is a really beautiful event, so thank you, Literary Symposium. This is amazing. I am a writer, director, sometimes actor, playwright, all the things. I currently work on Power. Does anyone watch the show? Power on Star. I worked in Shondaland, Still Star Cross, Grey's Anatomy, before that CSI, and a whole bunch of other shows. I'm also a screenwriter. I did a table read earlier this year. Tre'Vell is there. For my comedy feature, Death of a Fuckboy. Shirley Ralph was in it as one of the characters, and Daryl Stevens from Noah's Ark, and a whole bunch of other great people. To answer the question that you asked, Tre'Vell, I actually have kind of a different answer. I would say I see myself a lot. I've seen myself a lot, and I think that there are layers and pieces of who we are, and some things are really archetypal and universal. Like, I think that being a kid and seeing a different world and seeing young black kids in college who were different, it wasn't like the Cosby Show where everything was perfect. It was provocative. They told stories about HIV and told stories about people who had different class issues going on, and they talked about colorism, and I felt like the characters on that show were really different. Dwayne Wynn was a nerd, and some people were, like Kim, had issues with being a dark-skinned girl, and Denise couldn't keep her grades up. I felt like I really related to a lot of things in that, and I feel like I relate to shows like 6 Feet Under on HBO, and I think that to see an exact replica of myself, I would have to write that myself, and I think that I think that we're all doing that, and I think that's how you see yourself mirrored exactly, but I think that there are different pieces, like Moonlight has been brought up a few times. That was a really close example. Master of None, the Lena Waithe episode, the Thanksgiving episode that she won the Emmy for, where she came out to Angela Bassett, that was really beautiful. So there are a few modern examples that are getting close to the Black queer experience, and I think that this event and the people up here are a big part of seeing this Black queer wave that's about to happen. So, good job, y'all.
My name is Blaine Teamer, and I am an author and a playwright. And I graduated from Penn State University. I was an English major. And as I think about the question, I went through, I guess, 3 years, and you read all this literature, and when I was there, and it was never any African American authors. And it was my senior year, probably next to my last quarter, and I took an elective, and it was the writings of Toni Morrison and Zora Neale Hurston. And I felt like I existed in the world somehow for the very first time, and it just really opened myself up and made me feel like there was a place for something I had to say in the world. That was also where I met some of my first gay friends who kind of took me under their wing and exposed me to films like Paris is Burning. And seeing that, it was like, oh my God, there's this whole amazing world out there with these people who are so creative. And going to school at Penn State is a very Caucasian school, so it was like this amazing access to this world that I had never seen before. And then I think, this is kind of strange, but I felt like there was a film called My Beautiful Laundrette, and that was this beautiful love story that was so interesting as I was coming out at that particular time. So I think it was various things that kind of came together, and I said, oh, there is a place for something I want to express